What if I told you the universe has been screaming your name, but you've been too distracted to hear it? What if the signs weren't missing, but you were just too busy surviving to notice the miracles? Not gentle whispers, not quiet nudges, but divine messages woven into the chaos, disguised as delays, detours, even heartbreaks, all pointing you somewhere higher, somewhere richer, somewhere realer than the life you've been settling for. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet frustration that burns behind your smile. That question that haunts you in the silence. Why does abundance come so easily to others while I keep fighting just to stay afloat? Here's the truth no one talks about. The universe has no favorites. It doesn't bless one and ignore another. It offers guidance to all, but only those awake, still, and brave enough to listen can receive what's been theirs all along. And now, right now, in the sacred stillness of June 2025, something rare is unfolding. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply cosmically aligned. A portal opening, a divine shift moving beneath the surface, in the quiet. And with it comes 6 sacred numbers, each vibrating with ancient energy, each holding a key to unlock the flow of wealth, peace, and destiny. These numbers aren't from chance. They're not superstition. They're frequencies, resonating with the pulse of nature, the teachings of the Buddha, and the eternal truth. Everything you seek outside already exists within. In this rare moment, Mercury brings clarity to your thoughts. Venus opens your heart to receive. Spirit and matter come into harmony. This is the doorway where everything changes, not through force, but through alignment. And if you're listening right now, it means you're ready. Something in you already knows. This is the shift you've been waiting for. Not in the noise, not in the rush, but in the stillness you're finally allowing yourself to feel. And the most powerful part? If you stay with me until the end, I'll reveal the 7th number. A hidden master key. One that doesn't just attract abundance, it activates it. One that doesn't open the door, it erases the walls between you and the life that's already yours. But first, stop, breathe. Let this moment pull you in. Like this video. Subscribe to Old Buddhist Philosophy and declare your truth in the comments below. I am open to receiving abundance from the universe. Now let the journey begin. 12. A number so familiar, it often goes unnoticed. You see it every day. On clocks, calendars, and quiet patterns in nature. But have you ever truly felt it? 12 isn't just a number. It's a blueprint. A sacred rhythm that lives in everything. 12 hours of day, 12 hours of night, 12 months in a year, 12 full moons that pull the tides, shape emotions, and mirror the cycle of human transformation. It's not coincidence, it's code, a soft echo from the cosmos, reminding you that life moves in intentional patterns, not chaos. It's the universe's way of saying there is order beneath your overwhelm. There is meaning within your mess. And in Buddhist teachings, the meaning deepens even more. 12 becomes a doorway into the 12 nidanas, the 12 links of dependent origination. These are not abstract ideas. They are the mechanics of life itself. A sacred chain that explains how everything arises. Every thought, every fear, every desire. Nothing exists in isolation. Nothing begins alone. One moment gives birth to the next. One craving gives rise to suffering. One illusion feeds another until you are caught in a cycle that feels personal, but is universal. This isn't mythology, it's reality. Your breath is shared with the trees. Your energy travels further than your body. Your emotions ripple across time. You are not separate from the world. You are the world, breathing itself into form. And within that sacred 12 lives, the spirit of the tiger, not for its ferocity, but for its awareness. The tiger doesn't run after everything. It listens. It watches. It knows when to be still and when to strike. It lives in rhythm with the land. That's the hidden strength of 12. Not reckless power, but rooted presence. Not aggression, but alignment. So pause and ask yourself, what would conscious courage look like in your life today? Maybe it's not in burning everything down, but in building something lasting. Maybe it's not in walking away, but in staying rooted in truth. Maybe it's not about trying harder, but about trusting deeper. Because sometimes strength sounds like silence. Sometimes healing looks like a pause. And sometimes evolution begins when no one is watching, except your soul. And when you move with that energy, calm, conscious, clear, remember, you are not walking alone. The universe moves with you in every breath, in every still moment, in every choice to rise above the noise. 24 doesn't crash into your life like a storm. It doesn't shake the ground to be noticed. It arrives slowly, like the unfolding of light across a dark sky, unrushed, unbothered, deeply rooted in certainty. It is the quiet current beneath the surface, the subtle gravity that holds everything together without demanding credit. In a world that runs on noise and urgency, 24 moves with grace. It reminds you that real power doesn't need to announce itself. Real presence doesn't seek validation. It simply is. And in that being, it transforms everything around it. 24 is the sacred union of 2 and 4. The 2 is your inner world, the intuitive pull, the emotional intelligence, the silent voice that always knows but often gets drowned out. It's the feeling that rises in your chest before a word is spoken. It's empathy, sensitivity, softness, not as weakness, but as divine perception. The 4 is your structure, your root system, your inner architecture, your ability to build, to hold, to endure. It is order and grounding, not as restriction, but as stability. Together they create a quiet harmony, fluid but firm, emotional but anchored, soft yet immovable. It is the balance between feeling deeply and standing tall, between surrendering and staying strong, between moving with grace and refusing to break. In Buddhist teachings, this energy is embodied in the still presence of awakened awareness. The Buddha did not chase crowds or crave followers. His energy didn't rise from ambition. It radiated from stillness. And that stillness became a lighthouse. People came not because he sought them, but because his presence reminded them of home. That is the power of 24. Magnetism without movement, leadership without noise, alignment without effort. It teaches you that your greatest influence will never come from pushing, it will come from becoming. And in the symbolism of the Chinese zodiac, this energy is reflected through the rabbit. So often misunderstood as timid, the rabbit is not weak. It is exquisitely tuned. It survives not through aggression, but through awareness. It doesn't rush. It senses. It feels the shift in wind before the leaves move. It listens to what hasn't yet been spoken. It is present in ways most have forgotten how to be. That is the power of 24. Conscious responsiveness, the ability to align with what's coming before it arrives. So tomorrow, don't wake up just to rush. Wake up to return. Rise 5 minutes early. Sit with yourself, not to solve, not to plan, but simply to be. Close your eyes and breathe into your body. Let your mind grow quiet enough to hear the wisdom beneath the noise. Let your energy settle like water in a still pond. This isn't about doing more. It's about remembering who you are when the world stops spinning. Because that stillness, that depth, is where your real power lives. It's where your knowing speaks without words. It's where decisions become clear, not because someone told you, but because you remembered. And if you're still here, listening, receiving, then you already feel it. You're not chasing shallow success anymore. You're seeking something lasting, something real. You're not here for quick wins. You're here for alignment, for truth, for abundance that begins within and expands outward. So say it now, not as a hope, but as a declaration. Lucky path. Say it with your whole body. Say it with your breath. Say it as a promise to yourself that you will no longer abandon your peace in pursuit of someone else's version of power. Because the path isn't found through force. It's revealed through presence. And when you begin to walk in harmony with yourself, life stops resisting you. It starts moving with you, quietly, powerfully, consistently. That is the way of 24. 36 doesn't make noise. It doesn't scream for attention or prove its power. It just is, quietly certain, deeply rooted. It doesn't ask you to become someone new. It asks you to return to who you were before the world told you to shrink, before fear dressed itself as logic, before you mistook survival for purpose. 3 is your inner flame, the voice, the artist, the wild believer inside you. The part that dreams without needing permission, the part that still remembers joy without achievement, presence without performance. It's the fire that speaks even when no one's listening, because truth was never meant to wait for applause. 6 is your ground. It's the steady calm, the wisdom of compassion, the strength to stay soft. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It holds space. It shows up. It reminds you that real alignment isn't loud. It's lived. Together, 3 and 6 don't just guide you. They unlock you. They return you to a rhythm you always belonged to, but maybe forgot how to hear. The rhythm of becoming, of shedding without shame, of rising without needing to be seen. In Buddhist thought, suffering doesn't come from chaos. It comes from clinging, from the stories we tell ourselves long after they've expired, from identities we wear like armor, even after they've stopped fitting, from holding on to versions of ourselves that we've already outgrown. So pause, not to escape, but to notice. What are you still carrying that no longer carries you? A role, a title, a habit that once protected you, but now limits you? Letting go isn't weakness, it's return. Not to emptiness, but to your essence, the you that lives beneath the noise. Start small. One truth you've avoided. Bring it forward. Write it. Say it out loud. Then release it. Burn the page. Let it dissolve. Not to forget it, but to be free from it. And then return to life, not the checklist, but the living. Remember 3 moments when you felt truly you. Not productive, not praised, just present. Return to 1, even for 5 minutes. Let your spirit remember its shape. And then look around. Who holds space for your truth, not just your image? Who sees your evolution and says, yes, keep going? Surround yourself with that energy, with mirrors that reflect not where you've been, but who you're here to become. Because the universe isn't waiting for perfect. It's waiting for ready. And ready doesn't mean certain. It means honest. It means aligned. That's when 36 begins to move through you, quietly, powerfully, like roots growing deep beneath the surface, silent but unstoppable. You don't have to fight for your becoming. You just have to allow it. 18 is not here to control your mind. It's here to free it, to unravel the tight grip of overthinking, the loops of worry, the pressure to always be figuring it out. Your thoughts are not intruders. They are messages, mirrors, sometimes noise, yes, but often signals, maps drawn in confusion, waiting to be read with compassion instead of fear. Your mind isn't a machine to fix. It's a sacred river, sometimes calm, sometimes wild, sometimes deep and still, sometimes restless and muddy, but always flowing, always carrying you somewhere. If only you'd stop resisting its current long enough to understand where it's trying to take you. That's where the energy of 18 comes in. Not as a command, but as an invitation. To sit with your mind like you would with a friend you've misunderstood for years. To stop trying to silence it and start listening. Just 18 minutes a day. Not to be productive, not to improve, but to simply be. No rules, no targets, no self-help agenda. Just space, breathe, doodle, scribble words that make no sense. Stare out the window. Let yourself be completely unremarkable for a moment. That's where real insight lives, beneath the rush to be useful. And when your mind spirals, because it will, pause. Gently ask, is this thought helping me, or am I just addicted to thinking it? One breath. That's all it takes to create space. And in that space, something shifts. You stop being pulled under by the current and you start floating, watching, choosing. Try something unfamiliar. It doesn't have to be big. Speak to a stranger. Walk a different path. Turn off your phone and sit with silence instead of scrolling. Let life surprise you, even in small ways. Let creativity come through the cracks, not the plan, because the universe doesn't want your performance. It wants your presence, your weirdness, your heart, your thoughts as they are, unfiltered, raw, sometimes chaotic, but always sacred. There's no prize for being mentally perfect, but there is peace in being mentally aware. Buddhist wisdom doesn't ask you to kill your thoughts. It simply asks you not to cling to them, to witness the storm without becoming it, to notice the stories playing out in your head, and then choose whether or not to believe them. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching. You are not the fear. You are the sky that holds it. You are not broken. You're just remembering. So give yourself 18 minutes of quiet, of chaos, of nothing, of breath. Let it be messy. Let it be real. Because those small moments where nothing is forced are where something sacred begins. You don't need to escape your mind. You just need to return to it, gently, bravely, and with love. 48 is the sacred pace of patient power. In a world obsessed with speed, more followers, more steps, more wins, 48 dares to whisper something radical. Slow down. It doesn't resist growth. It respects it. It reminds you that not all evolution looks like progress. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like waiting, like tending to the roots before anything blooms. Because imagine trying to hear your heartbeat in the middle of a storm. That's what inner growth feels like when life is moving too fast. You lose your rhythm trying to match someone else's race. But the moment you pause, even briefly, you begin to hear it again. Your rhythm, quiet, steady, honest. 4 is structure, discipline, the foundation beneath your dreams. It's not glamorous, but it's sacred. It's the energy of routine, of commitment, of quietly choosing alignment over urgency. And 8? 8 is infinite flow, abundance that arrives when you've made room for it, not just externally, but within. Together, 4 and 8 don't promise fast results. They offer lasting ones. Grounded prosperity, not built on hype, but on habit. Not for applause, but for peace. In Buddhist wisdom, the Buddha once said, "A jug fills drop by drop, not all at once, not in dramatic leaps, just consistently, patiently, silently." And that's the essence of 48. It's the sacred rhythm of those who keep showing up, who rise before the world notices, who plant seeds and trust the soil, no matter how long it takes to bloom. So if it feels like nothing is happening, take a deeper breath. Look closer. The shift is already in motion. Every honest effort counts. Every small act of discipline is a prayer in motion. Every time you resist the urge to rush and choose presence instead, you align with the real kind of success, the kind that lasts, the kind that feeds your soul, not just your ego. You don't need to hustle for what's meant for you. You just need to become steady enough to hold it. So trust the slowness, trust the drop, trust the build. Because when it arrives, you won't have to chase it. You'll be ready to receive it. And now we arrive, not at an ending, but at a quiet unfolding. The final number, the hidden key, the sacred closing breath. 8. Not just a number, but a symbol written in the language of the universe. A loop without beginning, without end. Turn it sideways and it becomes infinity. A silent reminder that everything you seek is already moving toward you, if only you'll become still enough to let it arrive. Stand it upright, and it becomes a pillar. Steady, unwavering, the kind of strength that doesn't shake even when the world does. In Buddhism, 8 is not just sacred, it is foundational. The Noble Eightfold Path is not a staircase to climb, but a circle to live inside. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. These aren't rules to follow. They're frequencies to tune into, each one bringing you back, not to some ideal version of yourself, but to the quiet, aware, deeply alive version that was never lost, only hidden beneath hurry. 8 carries the energy of alignment. When you're aligned, you don't need to push. You don't need to chase. The river of life moves with you, not against you. Doors open, not because you pounded on them, but because you became the kind of person who no longer needed doors. You became the threshold itself. So here is your practice. Not flashy, not loud, but transformative in its simplicity. Spend 8 minutes a day in stillness, just being. No agenda, no performance. Let your breath soften the noise until only truth remains. Then offer 8 acts of kindness this week. Quiet ones. Ones no one may notice but the universe always sees. Not because you're trying to earn something, but because giving is how energy circulates, how abundance breathes. And finally, write 8 intentions. 4 for the outer world. Clarity in your goals, peace in your finances, expansion in your work, steadiness in your body. And 4 for the inner world. Compassion, presence, courage, and surrender. Keep them close. Read them when you wake. Whisper them before you sleep. Let them become your rhythm. Because 8 is not about more. It's about meaning. It's about depth over noise, truth over performance, flow over force. And once you move from that place, everything changes. Not because you've achieved something, but because you've returned to something ancient inside you. You don't have to shout to be heard. You don't have to chase what's already yours. You only have to be still enough to receive it. That's the wisdom of 8. That's the abundance of now. If this spoke to a deeper part of you, not just your mind, but your breath, your energy, your quiet knowing, then honor that moment. Don't rush past it. Let it land. Let it settle. Let it ripple. This isn't just another video. It's a mirror, a reminder, a soft awakening to the part of you that's always been waiting to be heard. And if you felt even a flicker of that truth, even for a second, then let this be the beginning of something deeper. So take a breath with me. Slow, full, real. Now, if your heart says yes, even in a whisper, do this. Like this video. Not for validation, but as a small act of grounding, of saying, I'm here, I felt this. Subscribe to old Buddhist philosophy, not for content, but for continued alignment, for messages that meet you where you are and gently guide you home. And leave this in the comments below. I am aligned. I am ready. I receive not as a wish, not as a performance, but as a declaration, a vibration, a subtle shift in your own field that tells the universe, I'm no longer running. I'm listening. I'm showing up. Because this moment is not coincidence. It's connection. And you didn't find this by accident. You were guided here, gently, purposefully, and right on time.